Now we start with a different database. This one is called Literature Resource Center. Let me show you here. We just finished with Literary Reference Center, so we move on to Literature Resource Center. You see that this is a Gale product. We've already dealt with EBSCO. We've dealt with some of the other databases. This one's Gale, so once again, the interface or the front page, the way that we interact with the database is a little bit different than what we've seen with some of the other products so far. This one is a basic search. I like this one because it will include bibliographic information, biographies, multimedia. You'll see what that means in a minute. Criticisms, which is exactly what we're looking for, among other things. So I could start here with, well, maybe if I do, let's see, I can do an advanced search. Whenever possible, go to the advanced search. That way there's more information that you can put in and should hopefully give you better results. So let's say that I'm doing, the name of the work is going to be The Metamorphosis. Maybe here I could put father son. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but let's give it a chance. I might go back and put family. I don't know. Person. I can put Kafka here. So let's let it go. See what it brings back. Okay, it's going to bring back two topics and two literary criticisms. All right. These are the topic overviews. These are the criticisms. So let's go in and look. You see that very much like one of the other products, it's going to show you one long uh, reference. So you can go in here and read it. This is coming out of a short story 1915. Overview, criticism, reference guide to short fiction. So that's our source, the reference guide to short fiction. The citation information is right here, so that makes it pretty nice. MLA, we can go between MLA, there's the APA. You can see immediately that there are problems with it. It's not a hanging indent. So that's why we absolutely tell you that you've got to go back in and uh, and fix those up as according to the handbook. Those handbooks, the MLA handbook, can be found here in the library if you don't want to go purchase it in the bookstore. So it talks about the story itself and gives you some information, some criticism information, as well as some insight as to the father-son relationship. So that could help. Let's see what else. This article shows up quite a bit in various databases, and there's good information in there. Talks about the relationship between the father and the son, not only in the Metamorphosis, but in some of the other works. As I said, Kafka repeats this theme several times. But I think that you'll be able to find some very good information about the father-son relationship, criticism on that, and analysis of that. And I like this. I like what Gale does. They'll go in and whenever your words, your search words are cited, they will highlight them in red so that it gives you a little bit of an advantage when you're trying to scan for the first time to see if there's going to be good information. So you can see that it's mentioned, your search words are mentioned quite a few times in this particular hit. So that's the way Literature Reference Center works. Pretty nice little tool. Next is the MLA International bibliography. You see we're back to EBSCO. And in reality, you can search uh, more than one EBSCO product together by going to the choose databases. You could do the MLA, which we did. There's also the short story. We've talked about some of the other ones already. So if you want to search multiple ones, you just have to mark those here, and then those results will all be combined and brought back to you. I'm doing them individually so that you can see the individual hits that we get with each of the databases, the individual databases. So Kafka, and let's see. Sometimes it just doesn't like all of that. Yeah, you can see that it doesn't like that. How about family relay? Human identity, family. Okay, brought back. Now, let's just say that this you had heard about this article, or someone had recommended this article to you, or you're interested in tracking it down. You can see that we don't have access to the full text with this one. All we have is a portion of a citation. Let me see what it is. It's actually, it looks like it's a book because it gives me an ISBN number. It tells me that it's available in paperback. So there's a couple of things. If I wanted to get a hold of this book, because it does mention Franz Kafka, it does mention the Metamorphoses right here. Um, there may be some information in here that I want to track down. I can do it through what's called interlibrary loan, or we also call in the vernacular, get it for me. Uh, we thought that that might, renaming it get it for me as opposed to interlibrary loan might be a little bit easier to understand. We're trying to get into that habit in the library of putting, if we're going to put a label on something, let's put a label that makes sense to the regular researcher and not just librarians working in the library. So I sign it, this link, get it for me. You can access it by using your credentials, the same ones that you use for getting into your email. So you log in and it opens it up. And in this case, because I'm in the database, it fills all of this out. There are some instances where it won't fill all of this out. And so I'll have to go back and pull the author's name and go back and cut and paste the title and that type of thing. So luckily on this form, it went ahead and opened it up for me. So everything is filled out. All I have to do is submit the request for this. It goes to our interlibrary loan department. They go out and search it and find it. And because this is a book, it's going to take a little bit of time. It takes about 10 days at the minimum because we have to send out the information. Uh, and then if somebody answers the call for the request, they go and they send somebody to pull this book from the shelf. Then they have to pack it and label it and put it into the regular mail. Sometimes if it's local or within Texas, we have special transport for that. But nonetheless, you have to remember that it's pretty labor intensive when you're doing a book. So you've got to allow yourself enough time for that. This book will get to you in about 10 days or so. Hopefully earlier than that, but you can't really, you have to make sure that when you're planning to get a book that we don't own, that you make sure to set aside enough time for that. So we request it, and then it shows up in your request list when you open up this form. And that's how interlibrary loan or get it for me works in a scenario like this. Okay, so this is, if I wanted to just do a general search on a metamorphosis in Kafka, you see that that brings up a lot of information. But because maybe if we put father, see, we've tried different things. So if father, between father and son, so we could go in here. Now remember, as I told you, I think at the beginning, that the Metamorphosis was turned into a play. So the play stays very true to the words of Kafka, but a lot of the information, a lot of these criticisms could be criticisms of the play itself, not so much of the writing of the Metamorphosis and the themes in the Metamorphosis. So they can still be very, very, very valuable for you in gathering the information. You can see some of these results. This journal is available at the OLLU library. That means that it's not on an online database. We have this particular journal sitting on our shelves. There's a couple of things you can do there. If you get this message and you want this article, you can call the library or email a librarian, and we can pull that for you, scan it, and send it directly to your email so you'll have it right away. You can do get it for me, in which case you'll fill out that form that I just showed you, and we send out a request. Whoever answers the request, and it would be ourselves, we would answer the request because it's right here in our library. We would scan it and send it to you. So either one of those scenarios is fine. I would choose the call, because we can call, you can call somebody, get in touch with somebody right away, and we can do it right away. Get it for me, even electronically, can take up to 3 days or so. So that's the fastest way. This one, this journal is available at the OLU library. Once again, it's sitting on our shelf and we can make a copy of it and send it to you. Or you can come in and make a copy of it. We advise you to scan it, send it to your email address, and then you can run it off on the printers that are in the lab. If you can also make physical copies, but those will cost you 10 cents a copy. And why do that when you can do it for the allocation of printing money that you have already available to you? All right, so this is that. If you came in and worked with me, we could sit here and kind of tweak this father son, family relations. There's a bunch of different things that we can put in here to get that just right result. We're always we That's our best recommendation. We always ask you to come in and work with a librarian. This one, the Oxford Encyclopedia of American Literature, will give you some very basic information as well. Any one of these sources is a great source. Okay, for books, this opens up our, well, it doesn't open up our book. I can take you, these are a couple of books that we have available, in particular for any of the African American writers. We have this reference book available on the second floor along with a lot of other books. How would you do a book search? Okay, we go back to the home page. The book search is right here under Search Our Collection. And of course, putting in Kafka and the Metamorphosis will pop up a book that has the actual short story in it, which is, I don't really need that. I'm interested more in a criticism. Um, Something like this, if we had it, would work better. And you see that we've got other criticisms of 20th century materials, not anything in particular that shows that it's got Kafka, or but some of the other short stories that you're working with are a little more common, even though Metamorphosis is pretty common. But we may be able to find a book. The chances are not so great, though, not like articles. We would probably be able to find more articles on your subject than we would actual books on your subject. This one tells me that this book is available through right here on the web. It's not a physical book that you would check out. Instead, it's an ebook. So you access it right on your computer. Click here to view. Right over here, I can either download it and check it out, or I can just look at it. And in this case, I just want to look at it. I don't want to check it out. If I check it out, like any other book, whether it's an ebook or a physical book, it's going to be in your name and you're going to have it, and only you will be able to use it. So that's fine. Right now, I don't want to check it out because I don't want to keep it out of the hands of somebody who might really need it. But I can look at the table of contents and see if there's anything in there that could help me with this topic. Again, my initial search didn't show that I had anything on there, but I just wanted to show you how there are books available on literary criticisms, on some short stories. I just didn't get very much of a result with that one. Okay. It would open up this book. I can go page by page on it. You can see how that works. So I just wanted you to be familiar with an ebook in case you had not had access to that before. Okay, so let's go back. You see it's an EBSCO product, our ebooks. All right. Let's see if I can get back to, it does not really like the back button, but that's okay. We're going to get there, or I can just open it up again. All right. Let's go one more time. Here we go. And then back to my course guide. Okay, we talked about interlibrary loan, get it for me. Uh, I have a I keep an ongoing list of some online resources that are available out there, the Internet Public Library, Labyrinth. There's several universities that produce web pages that are specifically geared towards literary criticism, and so there's a possibility that, and I've already authenticated these for you, meaning that these are legitimate criticisms done by experts in the field. They're not just uh, Joe Blow putting out his personal reflections on a short story. These are legitimate criticisms. So you might want to go in and look at those and see if you find information, pertinent information. We talked a little bit about citation. We do want to steer you towards EasyBib. For those of you that aren't familiar with this software, it's free of charge. It's listed on our webpage, the library's homepage, and it's kind of neat because say that you did find something in the Labyrinth or one of those other online sources, you can copy down that URL, place it here, and EasyBib has this humongous database of web pages that are used, especially those that are used regularly for educational purposes, like the Labyrinth. So you put that in here, and it's familiar with it already. You cite it, and it'll bring back a citation for you. Let me see if I can show you an example of that. Go here. Really? I don't know what that means. I tested out all of these links before, and that one is not working, so that's okay. Don't worry about that. I'm going to double check that before I send you this to make sure. If it's not working, I'm going to remove it from there, but all right. Let me just bring up an example here. Let's say I'm doing The Gates Ajar. Okay, y'all are making me look bad. How about go down Moses? Surely go down Moses. All right. Wow. Wow. This is not good. All right. It does say that there's other places we can visit here, but I didn't authenticate these, so I'm not real comfortable telling you, oh yeah, these are great sites, go to them. Um, I'll try one more. All right. Great Gatsby. So there's non-critical, critical sites. All right. So I'm reading, da 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 da. I'm going to use a quote or I'm going to paraphrase something from here, and I decided, yeah, This is going to be one of my legitimate sites. Berkali says something I really like on Great Gatsby, and I'm going to use it. So I copy this over to EasyBib. Let's see, paste it in there, and it says, you know what? We did find something, so let's continue. And did I choose MLA? Yeah, MLA 7. We want to do MLA 7. It gives me all of these places that I can fill out information, but what EasyBib does is it says I'm gonna put one out there that's got the necessary information in the right format. You can see the hanging indent, you can see the parentheses around the article name, so and you see the format, so it's all there. It's a start. Now, a lot of these don't have a publisher, don't have a date. Your instructor doesn't always like to see those NP, ND, so you better check this with Dr. Cuba to make sure that she likes that one. If not, then you need to do a little more research to see if you can find information or get rid of that information to produce a citation that's more what your professor's liking. And again, this is okay. Is it perfectly done the way that it needs to be done? That's something that you need to really double check with the writing center or your professor. So let's say that you're ready to import that over to a Word document. This is nice because you've created a folder in here that is for this class, and you've been putting all your citations in there, and then it's going to put it into the proper format for Works Cited. That's your first one, and it'll list all the other ones that you've listed as well. So we do want you to be familiar with EasyBib, not just for this program, not just for this assignment, but for any of the other assignments. And once again, you find that right on our home page under the citation tools, right here, right here under citation tools, EasyBib. We also have some other handouts and things that are good, nice, in case you have questions about how to do a particular type of citation. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to the course guide, English, and see if I've just about covered everything you need. Yeah, I think we have. So hopefully you'll be able to find, with the help of this instruction, those articles that you're looking for. You'll be able to work in Google Scholar. Did we address Google Scholar? I don't think we did. Let me open up a tab here. All right. I'll go to scholar.google.com. Scholar.google.com. That gives you Google Scholar, which is like Google. It's a Google product, but it will bring back more scholarly type information. And if we haven't talked about scholarly versus non-scholarly, some characteristics of scholarly information, the fact that it is written by experts in the field, documented experts in the field, because whenever they submit an article to one of the journals, it goes before a peer review of people in the field that have been assigned as experts in the field, and they look at the articles that are submitted, and it goes through a rigorous of path so that before it can be printed, they check the citations, they check the information. Oftentimes they will send it back for rewrite. Many times with the purpose of that is that this is supposed to advance the field, and we can only advance the field with good authoritative information that has been checked and double checked and proven. So it's more rigorous than, say, a Newsweek article written by the staff contributor who may not have an expertise in that area, but they go out and they do their investigation and their research and they write this, and it's a short article. It's much different than that. A scholarly article is so much more in depth. All right, so information that comes to us from Google Scholar is going to be more scholarly. Let's say that I continue with one thing I don't like about this that they changed, that you can't do an advanced search to start with. You can do an advanced search a little bit later on, and I'll show you how to do that. But let's start with Kafka and metamorphosis and father-son relationships. You can see that I've tried this already. All right, so let's search it. And this is what it brings back. It brings back citations. Here's a book citation. Here's another book citation. You can see that these are PDF. This one says that it comes from JSTOR. So there's a very good possibility that we have this particular article. You can see here, this is just a citation. It's just a one-page review of it. I can go in and try to access it, but more than likely it's going to say, oh yes, you can have this for $59. Put your credit card information here. Well, before we go through all that, and you should never have to pay for an article, let me just say that up front, because remember, we have Get It For Me, where you can take this information, put it into the Get It For Me form, and we can go out and look for that journal for you, that journal article for you, and get it back to you. But in this case, it gives me valuable information. It tells me that it's coming out of the publication called Comparative Literature, right? Comparative literature. This is going to be very important, because I'm going to take this information and I'm going to plug it into one of our other links on the library's homepage called Journal Finder. Journal Finder is great whenever you have a full citation or a citation that's got a lot of information like the author's name, the journal article name, the volume number, the date. All of those are important when you're going to Journal Finder because you're looking for a particular article, not just a big broad search like you do on the databases, but you're looking for this particular article. So we know that it's coming from the journal called Comparative Literature. We know that it's written by Mark Spilka. We know that it's called Kafka's Sources for the Metamorphosis. Right, so all of these things, let me see, do I have a, yeah, it's volume 11, number 4, 1959. Okay, that alone, and it doesn't, these, if you were doing a report on cancer treatments, well, gosh, we want the latest information. We want 2014, the latest that's out there. But for criticisms, not so important. The dates aren't so important because this gives us a little older material. That's okay. So 1950, the only thing is a lot of our databases don't carry that old piece of material, but we can go look. I'm going to show you how. Volume 11, number 4, autumn of 1959. That was a good time. I was about a year old. All right, let's see. So let's go back here to the library's homepage. Now, as you can already tell, I'm not real savvy on how to get back seamlessly to where I want to get, but bear with me. You're very kind. Here's Journal Finder. Right next to the book catalog, the article databases, here's Journal Finder. I click here and I put in comparative literature. Search it. And this is what it gives me. Okay, it says comparative literature studies. That's a dilemma because I'm not exactly sure which one it is. I'm going to go with the first one here. It tells me that we've got online access. We also have print access. Let me start with online access. Here it tells me that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different places that this journal exists in these different databases. But remember, it's 1959, so it's not going to do me any good to go look at it in Academic Search Complete because it only goes back to 75. It's not going to do me any good to go back to Master File Premier because it only goes back to 84, 75, 1989, 1995. So if I have a chance of getting it online, I only can probably have a chance through JSTOR. So let me go in there. So sure enough, I've got to go down here to the 1950s. 1959, volume 4, number 4, autumn of 1959. So far so good. Now I'm looking for this article by Spilka, and there it is right there. Kafka's Source for the Metamorphosis. These are all of the articles that are in that particular volume back in 1959, a very good year. Article PDF. All right. Now remember what I told you about JSTOR. You can't go on until you have given them the rights to your firstborn and accept all of their conditions. That opens up a PDF. And keep your fingers crossed that it's the full text from page 1 to the last page. Let's see. Ta-da! 208, page 289 to 307. Oh yes, there it is. There it all is. So I didn't have to do an ILL for it. I was able to get this citation through Google Scholar. Now, the chances are this is probably in one of our databases too. But Google Scholar, we almost call it the last resort. When you can't find anything else, Google Scholar will at least come back and give you lots of information about possible stuff that's out there on the open web that we could very possibly track down for you. Okay, so that's Google Scholar. How can you get better at Google Scholar? Come and work with a librarian. we use Google Scholar all the time when we come up against real challenging searches. So we're very familiar with it. We use it with all of our researchers, right up to our doctoral students. Our doctoral students become very, very familiar with it because they're looking for uh, very unique pieces of information. That we need to track down, and Google Scholar is just a wonderful place because it's like a warehouse of a lot of information. It's just a matter of how do we get to that information. Okay, excellent. So back to the here, right? No, back here. We'll go back to the course guide, and I think that we have covered just about everything that we needed to cover. I will say it again because I've said it a gazillion times already. Please contact me. All my contact information is on this LibGuide, and you can send me an email, jmartinez1 at ollusa.edu, jmartinez1. You can call me direct at my office, which is the university number 210-434-6711, extension 2575. But the best thing is send me an email. If you're in town, or if you're not in town, we can make arrangements to meet through Skype or whatever, and we can do these searches together. And more importantly, I can teach you how to do them. Oh, sure, I could give you the articles, that's fine. But I need for you to learn these skills so that for the next assignment, it becomes just a little easier to do. All right, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your patience as I click, click, click all over the place and lost half the time. But one thing, sincerely, call me. I'm more than happy to help you.